Palworld became a mega hit overnight when it released last year, and it has had millions and millions of players praise it. But unfortunately for them, they are facing major criticisms again over the decision to go for body types 1 and 2 instead of male and female, and they are actually silencing people on their Steam forums. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I completely understand that developers can do whatever the heck they want with their games, though players can also criticize them, and this has been a point of contention since release. A lot of people are sick and tired of seeing body types A and B or 1 and 2. You should just go for male and female. It makes the most sense. Most normal people are going to look for male and female instead, though that's not the decision that they made, and they have been criticized for it. But now the discussion is coming back up, and they are not taking it well. So it says numerous Palworld players are rightfully demanding that developer Pocket Pair change the game's type 1 and 2 bodies to male and female. A Steam user, Celestia Flea, initially called for the developer to change its type 1 and 2 bodies to male and female, posting on the game's Steam forums, "Can we change type 1 and 2 bodies to male and female, please?" So far enjoying the game, it's really chill. However, even though it's purely cosmetic and doesn't really affect the game, I'd like to see types 1 and 2 body types changed to male and female respectively. It's a modern gaming trope that just irks me, and this has been a major criticism from a lot of gamers. I can still enjoy a game that has body types A and B. Like Elden Ring is one of my favorite games of all time, and that doesn't feature male and female, though it is definitely something I'm aware of and something I do criticize in every single game. I think that it's dumb, and it just shows that the developers are more worried about following politically correct trends within the industry instead of actually doing what level-headed people would expect of them. And that has just happened with a lot of developers. It actually primarily had started because Japanese developers believed that that was kind of a trend within the Western gaming industry, and a lot of developers have since then kind of picked that up and ran with it. But every single game that does this ends up criticized. As you can see, here's a thread over on X talking about it. Palworld forums are exploding as gamers ask for male and female instead of body types 1 and 2. And there are hundreds to thousands of people who actually would prefer this change. Now, when I went to their Steam forums to kind of look into the situation and see what was going on, at first it didn't seem like that big of a deal, right? Oh, there was 1 or 2 threads. But it has since then kind of exploded. If you start searching for body types, there are tons of people talking about it. And if you actually head over to one of the larger threads that has gotten attention, the one that was mentioned in the article, the topic is now locked. So whoever is running these forums, whether it is a social media manager or a developer themselves, they do not want people actually having this conversation anymore. It got about 280 comments, and then it was locked, which is always really disappointing to see, because you want people discussing things that they like about your game or even dislike about your game. You want people to be talking about your product, and you should, for all intents and purposes, take that feedback into consideration, but it doesn't really look like that's going to happen, which is, of course, pretty disappointing to a lot of people. Again, it does not ruin an experience for me, though it definitely is something that I pay attention to. Again, all they had really asked is, like, it's a modern gaming trope, maybe you should just change it. And then people were saying things like, not going to happen and you know why. But if you don't ask, you don't get right. No harm in asking, I guess. Not a deal breaker for me, though. Just kind of irks me. Yes, you've got a point. Okay, then if you're serious about asking it, I have to tell you that no Pocket Pair developer read on Steam forums. You have to use the game's in-game feedback button to let them know your request. And people are saying, like, I'm definitely going to do that. I second the OP's motion. Either that or make both body types topless, because it's useless and not needed. There are dozens of games out there which only differentiate by using body types. This isn't something new or special. It would really only bother you if you were one of those obsessed with gender differentiation, then care about the game and gameplay. That's my take on it. Unless anything gender related bothers you, you would not care about what some letters say. So there are some people sitting here defending Pocket Pair and this decision, though again, lots of people are just not happy with this move. Asmongold said it's great to see people finally waking up to this ridiculous trend. 99% of people refer to each other as male or female, but in the name of inclusivity, we will change the vocabulary to body types 1 and 2, a complete inversion of logic and rationality. That has been the past decade within the video game industry. Developers will make changes that they think will make them, receive more investment dollars, those sweet, sweet ESG dollars. They will do anything that they can in the name of inclusivity that they think is going to make them more money. Though I'm surprised at this point they haven't learned that the crowd that demands inclusivity within video games really doesn't play them. They do not show up to support these projects. They didn't show up to support, I don't know, Bloom and Rage, which had 4 lesbians in it. They didn't show up to support Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which had a strong feminist message behind it. They didn't show up to support Dustborn, which of course touched on literally every social and political statement that you could make. And they didn't support Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, or Concord. I could go on and on. They didn't support these games. So you would think that developers would finally say to themselves, okay, we should listen to the 99% again. There are people bringing up that it might not be possible right now as the effects of the gaming industry's recruitment process will take years to reverse. And I say this all the time. I do eventually think that developers will stop shoving diversity into their games just for the sake of checking off boxes on a checklist. Diversity and inclusivity, when done naturally, are amazing things, and it is very important to show all different types of people and cultures and backgrounds within our experiences, whether they're video games, TV shows, or movies. But we can tell a lot of studios do it now to appeal to investors and to get those ESG dollars. They want to do it to say that they have made the most diverse and inclusive product they could have because they think it's going to make them more money and lead them to more success, which definitely is clearly not the case anymore. But I think that in a couple of years, we'll see a major shift in the industry, maybe by like 2030. But development processes take so long now. I mean, Dragon Age of Veilguard, from when they officially kind of internally greenlit it to launch, was a decade long. There are games that take 5, 6, 7 years, sometimes even up to 10 years to be developed. And I don't think that every single studio is just going to cancel every single project they've been working on. Sure, they could alter them slightly, but at the end of the day, a lot of these projects are still going to have to come out. And it's not going to be till like 2030 when a new wave of games launch that we are going to see if they actually did make a major shift internally when it comes to the content that is being created. So it's going to be a heck of a long time, though I do think until then we will see small changes if these developers actually start listening to real gamers again. It's long overdue that gamers start demanding their games be normal again. We should ask the same for World of Warcraft. It's crazy that this is still happening. I'll buy Palworld if they make that change. I'm surprised they don't have 100 types to represent all genders. They'll go back to male and female. I'll buy it. And we've seen this be a actually successful marketing strategy for developers. I mean, we had seen the same thing happen with Lords of the Fallen back in January. They added the male and female character options back into the game. They went away from body types 1 and 2 or A and B, and they went back to traditional male and female, and it led to more sales. They actually just released their big 2.0 update, which has been a smashing success for them so far, which is always great to see. I did interview the CI Game CEO, Merrick Tominsky. That will be linked down below. But yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic to see developers doing so good when they listen to their real customers. And unfortunately, when it comes to Palworld, we've got these Steam threads being locked now and them, not wanting people to actually discuss this topic at length. So I'll be keeping my eye on this. Maybe they will make a statement. Maybe they will continue to lock down threads. I'm not sure, but the primary one that people were chatting on was, shut down. So we'll have to see what happens. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.